think they know what's up. But the other thing is the back of his shirt. If you look in the middle of the artwork,
acorn that anchors you down or something
Excellent.
like that.
Something heavy. A very heavy acorn. Yeah,
A very heavy acorn.
It's not a joke. This is the card, and that is his name.
Yawn?
Colin.
Welcome everyone to another Diving into Altered. We got some exciting news to share with you all
Very
today.
exciting. Very exciting.
As you guys know, in anticipation of set 2, we've got card reveal season.
Yeah, reveal season is upon us. Always an exciting time.
Yeah. I think there was an initial wave of cards being revealed, and
Yeah, from packs.
and now we're kind of going into the segue. So special thanks, honestly, to Equinox and Loki. Loki manages the social media. I know you met Loki in Arizona.
Loki. Thank you.
Thank you. I've not met you in person, but I'd like to extend my thanks and gratitude as well. We're very, very thrilled. And in fact, we're not just us, but our community, because we're intending on revealing the card amongst our locals. I think no better way than doing that.
Yeah, we're doing it live. We'll have some community interaction, and
Yeah, so, I think what we thought was fun, because we kind of started talking to our community about what the potential card could be. So, Longan, why don't we pull you in and kind of get your thoughts? Come on in over here, have you swap out. Yawn, we might need you. We might need you.
Okay.
yeah, I do need him.
So, Trial by Frost
Yes.
releasing in a few weeks.
Yep.
What do you think the card is going to be?
I am all in on my vote for Bravos, and I've got a few conspiracy theories. My first one is that they put the Bravos box at the front.
Okay.
So I think they know what's up. But the other thing is the back of his shirt. If you look in the middle of the artwork, the Bravos character's in the middle. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
He's like the main
I hate
man.
to break it to you about the conspiracy, but the shirt, it's just the art, man. The art is what it is. But I like the.
I think
like
Bravos is the main man, though, of the
But
series.
that's technically beyond the Gates artwork. I'm poking holes,
Oh,
man.
I didn't think about that. But I'm still on Bravos. I'm still on
You're
Bravos.
still in that Bravos train.
I'm still
okay.
on the Bravos vote.
Do you play Bravos?
I really like to. I need to pull a few good uniques for it, but I really want to.
So you think that this new card is going to be a Bravos card?
I'm hoping.
You're hoping.
But I'm good with Lyra. I'm good with Muna as well.
Well, I know every
like
card
those
is going to
two.
get a bit of love, so let's wait and see. We're literally going to be revealing it in like 5 minutes from now. So,
All right.
Tris, why don't we get you up here as well and get your thoughts on what card you think it might be?
Thank you.
All right.
Hello.
So, Tris, I asked you which decks you play. You say you play all of them.
I do. I'm okay with every color.
Every color. Is there a particular card? Is there a particular faction, color that you want to
That
see
I
a
want to
reveal for?
see. I'd be happy to see a reveal for Muna, honestly.
Okay.
I think it'd be really cool if there was some sort of an equipment permanent, because I know
Okay.
there's been reveals for those before that
Yep.
kind of help maybe with the whole anchoring mechanic that Muna abuses.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think I'd like to see
Yeah.
something like that.
I like that. Like
Yeah.
some natural equipment,
Yeah.
like an acorn that anchors you down, or something
Excellent.
like that.
Something heavy. A very heavy acorn. Yeah.
A very heavy acorn, or maybe a giant pine cone from the pine
Excellent.
cone.
Yeah.
Cone man, right?
And all the animals can hide in it.
Okay, I love Muna,
Yeah.
so that'd be great. I know Yawn is starting to play Muna too, so maybe we'll see a Muna card. But I kind of like Longan's little conspiracy of the little Bravo stack here.
Secret
so.
tech. Yeah.
So let's see. All right, Yawn. Why don't we come back in and thank you, Tris.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. Well,
Well, before we hop into that, what do you think about that? We got Longan coming in with the conspiracy theory of your shirt, and then Tris came in with the Muna equipment.
yeah.
hitting
So
some targets.
with conspiracy theories, sometimes there's a lot of holes in them, but sometimes there's also a lot of truth behind them.
Okay.
So, in this case, the conspiracy is true. I want to welcome our Bravos Brigade. I'm excited to reveal a Bravos card because as you mentioned, I am a Bravos player. I really like Bravos because it's such a versatile faction in the way you can build the deck and just swap cards in and out versus some of the other factions like Axiom with Traced and Ortis with Sigismar Waru. It's like the game plan is very straight. There's not much room to kind of like swap in and out too much cards without making the deck like less optimized. In Bravos, I feel like the field is pretty much wide open, so I really
Does
like.
that mean Bravos is just less optimized? Or do you still think that it's
I mean, it's definitely not like a top tier hero right now, or top tier faction. I'm a Kojo player myself, and what I've heard the community talking about a lot was they're hoping for a 1-drop.
Okay.
That would really help with just providing more tools for the faction, and like the 1-drop slot is quite limited for Bravos, and a lot of times you have to lean into the rares to actually be able to have 1-drops to do the things you want them to do in the deck. So things like Tiny Jin rare and the Salvager rare. I've heard a lot of talk about, you know, that 1-drop slot, and that's really what people are hoping to see some of at least.
I mean, with Muna too, right? You get the Spindle Harvester, which is a solid 1-drop, and you've got a couple actually Spindle Harvesters at the 1-drop unique slot.
Oh yeah.
Right, so for Bravos to get a 1-drop as well, I mean, a viable one at that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But guess what? We are getting one. We are getting a Bravos 1-drop, and you know, I'm not sure, you know, if it was intentional, but we absolutely believe that this card is a fire card, and it is change the meta. I personally think I'm throwing my flag out there. It
is fire, quite literally. It is a fire card. All right. So you guys know about the Fire Cat, aka Buddha, who is our almost star of Bravos. All right.
Yeah.
And
in the grand reveal.
The card. We got Fire
Rabbit.
All right.
There we go. The cat and the hare.
That's right.
The cat and the hare.
So it's not a joke. This is the card, and that is his name, Fire Rabbit. That's literally his name. That's who we got. He's a 1 mana from hand, 1 mana from reserve. Stats are 1/1/0. And what does he do? You may have me gain fleeting. If you do, another target gains 1 boost. So you may, yes.
You may.
And that's actually pretty important to point out. You don't have to do that. So right away it gives you some versatility. And honestly, first thoughts is it really reminds me of Bravos Tracer, who's a 2 mana 3/3/3. I gain fleeting. The Fire Rabbit is essentially a 1 mana 2/2/1 that gains fleeting, but you can put those stats on another character. I think stat splitting is really nice, especially when playing Kojo. You can throw that on Buddha. So I think this is a great card, and let's show you guys the rest of the lineup. We have the rare, and actually I think it's fitting that in the common he's missing the water stat, right? He's a Fire Rabbit, so he's missing a stat in water. Here he's gaining that water stat back, and he's also gaining a quick ability out of reserve. You can discard it, and the next character you play this turn gains 1 boost, kind of like Isunboshi.
Which is crazy, because like it's given a whole nother level of versatility to be able to discard and still be able to, play it from reserve or discard it from reserve and still be able to get the 1/1/1 boost.
Correct, yeah. And you know, because of that, you may have me gain fleeting. If you're not planning to take advantage of that all the time, and you may not, give it fleeting, and you want it to go to reserve, you can always give the boost coming out of reserve as well. I'm not sure if it's gonna fit in the rare slot in a lot of decks, because that rare slot is always very competitive and we don't know what else is coming. But for sure adds a lot of versatility to the card. So I like that. And also I do want to point out the flavor text. Let's not overlook the flavor text, okay? Hot Bunny in your area wants to meet. I think that's so cheeky. I love that. I love this card. All right, and let's show the out of faction rare coming in at Ortis. I don't think Ortis players are going to get too excited about it, because again, rare slots are always very competitive, and I don't think it fits too much into the typical game plan. but we don't know what else is coming, so you never know if you're going to need those boosts. Typically, you want to summon dudes, right? Or to summon a dude. It'd be interesting if they changed it to have me gain fleeting summon a dude. But yeah, there it is.
Definitely not. It doesn't hit the same, right, with Ortis, but there's still a lot of cards to be revealed, so let's see.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's get some reactions, maybe.
Yeah. So why don't we get Cornflake up here? Cornflake's local community, local expedition player of ours. We wanted to get your thoughts. I know you're putting together a Bravos deck, right? And so what do you think about the Fire Rabbit?
I like it. I like it for Bravos quite a bit. Yawn was saying how there's a lot of versatility. I think that's pretty good, especially in the beginning. If you have kind of an empty expedition, you don't really have to use the ability.
Right, yeah.
So you can just kind of one-stat it on one side and kind of put pressure on either expedition. I mean, it's pretty simple, but it does its job pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's like, generally speaking, with a 1-drop, you're not going to get something that's absolutely going to break the game.
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
It's you're really talking about value at this point, and I think based off what I see in Muna, right, with Spindle Harvester, is just simply the fact that sometimes a 1-drop you can play on turn 1, you can play it on turn 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And, depending on the effects that it has as a unique, it could definitely amplify that. So do you think ultimately this is something that you would include in your deck? And if you do, would you choose the common or would you choose the rare version?
I think I agree with Yawn. Probably the common. I have a feeling I wouldn't use this as much later. I mean, you'd probably still throw it down just to gain a boost, but it's definitely more effective, I think, in the beginning and in the middle part of the game rather than the later part. And because of that reason, you don't really need a rare version of that necessarily just for the extra 1 water stat. At least I wouldn't run it that way.
There
but
you go.
I think I also agree with Yawn. The Ortis seems kind of random, but who knows? Maybe there's like a boost strategy that comes out in the new set.
That's true, right? Because a lot of times the meta does change with new sets.
Yeah.
And I'd be a bit surprised, though, like if Ortis kind of went completely 180 and didn't rely on tokens and went with more of a boost strategy. But it would be interesting to see. I like your comment about how this becomes less useful over time.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's ultimately it's only a 1-drop, right? And it can give you a 1/1/1 boost. And aside from that, it's not really going to turn the tides, right?
It kind of fits into like the whole Bravos thing of playing quick and fast, like right off the start. So
as a Bravos player, you're typically only early and mid game.
Yeah.
And you kind of fizzle out towards the end, but hopefully you end it before then.
it's true.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Cornflake.
Thanks, guys.
So, Yawn, there you have it. We got some community reactions. We got your take.
Yep.
I'd be honestly interested in seeing how you think that Fire Rabbit would interact with some existing cards that have been revealed, or in the Beyond the Gate set.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a look at it. And actually, I think it's very fitting because cards that we've seen so far just come out of Equinox's original teaser for set 2, as well as coming out of packs. A lot of it had fleeting synergy. So let's take a look at that. We talked about this one,
Crowd favorite,
Arcolano Milk, in our set 2 video. When a character joins my expedition, it gains 1 boost and fleeting. So if you have this on the board and you actually play the Fire Rabbit, it just negates itself, right? Because it's either gaining fleeting from the card or from this, and you're double boosting essentially for free.
And it doesn't feel bad now.
It doesn't feel bad, exactly, right?
feel
So
bad.
perfect synergy right there, very fitting. So it seems like we're getting a little bit of a fleeting theme, especially with some of the new sites that we've seen. So each faction is getting their version of a site. This is Bravos' version, which is when a character you control gains fleeting, which the rabbit is. I gain a trial counter. When I gain my 3rd trial counter, sacrifice me. If you do, create a 5/5/5 token in target expedition, and then each character you control gains 1 boost. So first of all, I think Bravos is going to be probably the faction that's able to satisfy the conditions of these sites one of the fastest, because playing fleeting characters is pretty easy, especially when you have things like Tracer, things like Fire Rabbit, even just playing things out of reserve. So you could probably play this and complete it in the next turn if you're set up, right?
For sure.
And you're not just getting a 5/5/5 token, you're essentially getting a 6/6/6 token because it's going to gain that boost right away. Plus anything you played that turn is getting a boost. Plus anything on the board is getting a boost. So
And
that's a lot of synergy.
a lot of synergies, and kind of going to your point earlier about how Bravos didn't necessarily have its identity as well defined. I think
That's right, yeah.
Equinox is really coming in and saying like, look, like this is almost a way that you can play Bravos beyond just it's an aggro deck.
Yep.
Right, it's obviously a very, very hyper aggro. You throw down Icebound Peak, you get a bunch of fleeting characters, boom, a 5/5/5 turn 2, turn 3.
Yeah, and you know, like, I think the reward does need to be pretty substantial for playing fleeting characters, because at the end of the day, you're only getting one play out of them. So I hope this is powerful enough. We do actually have the rare as well, which doesn't change anything beyond it costing one less mana, which actually might make a big difference, right?
Pretty aggressive.
Yeah,
Aggressive, yeah.
because you can get this down turn 1 with a rabbit, and now you've already given, you know, one counter on the board. You've got your landmark, and turn 2 you can start to, like, you know, drop your tracers and stuff like that, and really start going super aggressive. So yeah, I mean, Fire Rabbit, a lot of synergy with what was revealed so far. So I'm hoping we'll see more of this kind of synergy, because to make that landmark, you know, really good, you're gonna need, this isn't enough, obviously, right? You're gonna need
not
more.
Enough. Yeah, like it's part of the identity, but like these are, you know, a handful of cards that can put together pieces of that picture, but we gotta wait for the remainder cards to be revealed to really see how that is. But since we're not at that point yet, how does this card relate to some existing Bravos cards that you know, that we're seeing in the Beyond the Gate set?
Yeah, so I think the most obvious existing one is the hero. So we have Basira, and she, when a character you control gains 1 boost, you can give a boost to any other character, right? That's the most obvious thing that stands out for me, and I think having more ways to activate this hero is great, because right now the totem pole is kind of Kojo, then Basira, and if we start to see more tools for Basira to be able to more consistently activate this hero power every single turn, I can start to see her being, you know, more playable compared to Kojo.
Definitely more playable, but I don't know. Would you really not take Kojo? Like, at the end of the day, you're getting Kojo. It equalizes to 1/1/1 each turn. I know you're getting a 2/2/2 every other turn. This, you're getting the same value, but you have a condition that you have to satisfy.
Yes, and it's typically always better to have a character, an extra character on the board, than it is to have a boost, right? So I think, yeah, like Kojo is always going to be pretty competitive with Basira for that fact, but as you can give Basira more support, and I'll get into a few other synergy, I think she starts to get, you know, more playable.
More viability.
Yeah,
for sure.
and like, that's typically what happens in TCGs, right? Like, as more sets release, heroes that may not be as relevant all of a sudden can start to, you know, come into the limelight, right?
Which is nice, right? Because then when you're saying a Bravos deck, you're not immediately thinking Kojo. When you're saying Ortis, you're not immediately thinking Sigismar, right?
Yeah.
So welcome change, and I hope that there are maybe some more cards that would play off of characters gaining boosts, right? And
Yeah.
that would really solidify her role.
Yeah, so what else do we have in Bravos so far that could benefit from this type of card? So another thing that Bravos really lacks and really needs help with is their draw. And we have a card in Ozma that on paper, you know, looks like you would almost want to include it in every Bravos deck because you need the draw. But in reality, having 2 or more other boosted characters on the board before playing this card, it just hasn't proven to be consistent enough to run this as a rare to be able to have it in the deck. And something like Fire Rabbit could really help, you know, make that more consistent. Like, if we can more
Fire
consistently
Rabbit,
get draw out of this, like, I can see this becoming more playable. In Ortis, we have a bit of a Bravos Ortis theme going on, but this is the out of faction card coming out of Ortis, and it's an auto include in Ortis because it doesn't require boosted characters, it requires tokens. and like they just always have tokens on the board, so it's an auto include card. I love this to be an auto include card in Bravos and be able to get the draw out of it. So
Yeah, card draw is always key. So
Yeah.
definitely agree there.
so a little bit more kind of cards that aren't really that playable in the current state. Atlas, 5 mana, 3/3/3. If you can put a boost on this, it's essentially gaining 2 boosts because you're gaining a boost on each side. So you're going from 3/3/3 to 4/4/4 on each side, plus adding Basira on top of that. So you could for 6 mana play Atlas, play Fire Rabbit, and now you've got a 5/5/5.
But it's really a 10-10-10.
Exactly. You're putting 10-10-10 on the board. So that's a nice little synergy, being able to put more boosts on this. And the rare. I think if you are playing Atlas, you are playing the rare because the game's seasoned and it's going to keep those boosts. I know it was getting a lot of play early on and it kind of dropped off. So it'd be interesting to see if this starts to become more playable again.
Bit revitalized for sure.
Yeah. Kappa, another seasoned character that doesn't really see too much play. It is required to run a rare to get that season, so it doesn't see too much play, but at 4 mana, it's kind of like in that range where it's just out of range of being playable, but with more support, maybe it does become more playable in like a full season deck.
Yeah.
Maybe we see more season support, who knows? Pathfinder, another one, seasoned. You may pay 2 to have me gain 1 boost. Now you can give this 1 boost with the Fire Rabbit. You don't have to pay 2, although you could if you think you have the mana to do it. Red, kind of a vanilla card, just basic, doesn't see...
Well, it's interesting, right? Because the common theme right now that we're seeing is a lot of seasoned cards, which keeping boost when you go to the reserve.
Mm-hmm.
But then earlier in the video, we were also talking about how there's a lot of cards that play around the mechanic of fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
You're throwing fleeting on your cards. So it's almost a little bit of a, it's an argument between the two, right? Like,
Yeah.
Are you going hot and heavy with fleeting cards that give you a lot of upfront value, or are you trying to outvalue your opponents with a seasoned strategy? Interesting to see how it's going to play out.
Sure, for sure. I do have a comment to that, but I want to show you the rare red, which again, draw, but you need 3 or more boosts, which has just proven to be a bit hard to meet that condition, to get the consistent draw out of it, to make it worth running the card. So Fire Rabbit, again, can kind of help satisfy these conditions more consistently. I'd love to be able to run more draw in Bravos. And then we also have Vanguard. So you talked about fleeting, but we do have cards that can remove fleeting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can play Bravos Vanguard. Even I can even see a day 2 play where you're at 4 mana, right? You play Fire Rabbit, you boost your Buddha, you give it fleeting, and then for 3 mana you play Vanguard, you take away fleeting from your Rabbit, right? And you're still being pretty efficient with your turn and putting stats on the board.
Are you running this card right now?
On and off, yes.
On and off?
Yes, I've had it in my deck, just depending on kind of what I can fit in there and what I can't. But yes, this card definitely does see play out of everything we've looked at. The season doesn't see as much play. Removing fleeting, very powerful, right?
Yeah.
And the rare also does give a boost. So if you're running a heavy boost deck with Basira, I could see you actually upgrading to the rare, removing fleeting, gaining 1 boost. So
Very powerful. Play from anywhere too. So.
yep. And then Helping Hand, you have just the variation of the Vanguard. A 1 mana spell, character gains 1 boost and loses fleeting. I think this is a great play on Rabbit too, right? You play Rabbit for 1 mana, give something a boost, your opponent has to go, play Helping Hand for 1 mana, remove fleeting, give it a boost, right? These are like little ways to kind of control the opponent in a sense, right? Soft kind of after you that Akesha likes to do with the 1 mana cards and seeing what the opponent's going to do.
It's really negating a lot of your downside from being able to boost characters that have fleeting, or if they're seasoned, playing on the strengths of that continuity of play. Because I think like with Bravos right now, I can imagine from your experience is you probably eventually feel like you lose a bit of steam, either by way of card draw or the cards themselves, right?
That's exactly what happens, man. Bravos, like that's the biggest downside of Bravos is you can go fast, but only until a certain point. And if you're not fast enough, you just get in a position where you might have no cards in your hand and like that's never a good place to be in, right?
And your opponent's just outvaluing you, like if it's Sigismar, right? And they're just tokens coming for free by that point.
Tell me about
turn
it,
5
man.
or 6, right? Like
Tell me
you
about
can't
it.
really do anything if you have no cards and if you have no characters to play.
Yeah.
So
yeah, tell me about it.
hopefully this will kind of extend that game towards a little bit more towards the end game,
Yep.
right? But at the same time, kind of balancing it, right? I don't think it's like there's answers to the problems, which is like characters kind of balancing between fleeting and seasoned and whatnot. But I don't think the answers are that overwhelming that it's like it's not an issue. It's like
Yeah.
characters that gain fleeting is not like you don't have to worry about it anymore. You still have to get the cards like this to remove it.
Yeah, so a lot of different moving parts, and with the lack of draw, it's hard to get kind of the right cards that you need at the right time, right?
Yeah.
So, again, I really hope this helps Bravos play some of those other cards that can draw more consistently. That's kind of my hope out of all of this.
Well, consistency wins TCGs, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
you know, this Rabbit is giving us a helping hand, giving you a helping hand, and all the Bravos Brigade players a helping hand.
That's
and,
right.
you know, at the very least, getting a little Fire Rabbit on the field. And
He's a cute guy, man.
He is a cute guy. It's got the Buddha theme, right? It's the same artwork, same style, except in the snow.
Yeah, yeah. All right, that's all I got for you, man. That's it. Just, you know, here's again the common, the rare, and the out of faction rare. That's what we got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the reveal.
Hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to be kicking off our locals expedition very, very shortly. Thank you for our community for being patient. But we're so excited to bring this to you guys in this format. If you're in the Toronto area, we have our locals every Sunday from 2 to 5. Not every Sunday, but mostly every Sunday. You can join our Discord or go on our website to check our schedule. But we'd love to play Trial by Frost with you and definitely with a Fire Rabbit.
Yeah, and if you're not local, always enjoy chatting with you guys in the Alter Discord, in the Bravos channel. We talk a lot. Looking forward to talk about the Fire Rabbit. So I'll see you guys there. And we don't usually do this, but if you enjoyed the video, show us some love. Give us some comments on what you guys think about the cards and the video. Give us a subscribe. We try to put out videos, you know,
Every couple weeks or
Yeah.
so, yeah. Not just Altered, but TCG hobby in general, but obviously been making a big push for Altered. So we do thank everyone who's been supporting us. We'll continue making these videos. And again, thank you, Equinox, for giving us the privilege to reveal Fire Rabbit to the communities.
That's right. All right.
All right, take care.
See you guys.